next author, Dominic.
Okay, GAIL TANZER is a graduate of the University of Chicago, and she began her career as a social worker, but has an interest in art history and history, and that brought her to writing historical fiction about artistic personalities. And the book that she's promoting is Duccio, or is it Duccio? And the Maestra.
Duccio.
Duccio, okay. GAIL TANZER.
Hi. Can you hear me okay and see me and everything? Oh, good. Okay. I have my book here, Duccio and the Maestra, and you can tell by my pronunciation that I'm not Italian. My name alone will show that. But I love to write about artists who once were famous but are not very well known today. Just like Carol said, we all need a mission, and that's my mission. Anna and Vince Raimondi are very good friends of mine, and they went through the book, and whenever I had Italian words, they made sure that I had them right. I studied Italian for a year, and then I went to Siena to research for this book, but you know, my Italian is not that good. In every good book, fiction book, the main character has to have a problem or an issue. And in this book, Duccio's issue was in 1311. He had created this great Maestra altarpiece that was about 7 by 13, brought it to the Siena Cathedral from his workshop. The people loved it, they adored it, but there were 2 people in the commune of Siena who were against it and against him and tried to turn the people against the Maestra. So that's the problem of the main character. You will have to read the book to find out how it ends. I'm not going to tell you all that. But I would like to just mention 3 reasons why I think it's a good book to read right now at this time of life. First of all, we have a lot of stress right now, don't we? This is one of the most stressful times of ever in our society, with the COVID, with George Floyd's death, and all the political turbulence. I think we all are suffering anxiety. But when you go back to Siena, you read this book, you feel yourself walking down the cobblestone streets, you see the Palazzo Pubblico, you're in this fortified city, high on a hill, looking down on the Tuscan landscape. You feel better. It's a nice escape. And many of you have probably been to Siena. You're Italians. And so if you've been there too, that's extra remembrance. The second reason I think you will like reading the book is that you'll learn about Siena's fascinating character. If you were all live here, I could ask you how many of you have been to Siena and know what Siena is like. It's very unique. I studied it ahead of time, and it just blew my mind, and I saw it when I was there. If you just go in for a day or 2 or 3 as a tourist, you probably will not see the difference. But Siena is like a medieval city still. A lot of it's the same as in 1311. Now, superficially, like I said, the people look very modern, very well dressed. You have doctors, lawyers, shopkeepers, up to date with all the times. But they are the commune is still called the commune, and it's divided into 14 or 17 contrade, 17 neighborhoods. And each neighborhood has their own representation and colors. I'm going to show you. These are the scarves from 2 different contrade that I bought. This is one from, I don't know, it doesn't say which one, but I guess the hippopotamus. Oh. Was the symbol of this one. And these are the colors. And now you'll see another one that, let's see here. This one, well, I just dropped it and that phone call got me off. This one here is from a different contrada. So every contrada has its own colors. It has one day we were walking along and outside they had a baptism outside of this church, and the people were from the contrada and observers too, and everyone wore their contrada scarf. Even the teenagers had the scarves on. Another time we heard noise outside of our room like at 9:30 at night. We looked down and there must have been a 5K race. People were running through. They had their contrada t-shirts on. The people watching were from a different contrada. Then one day after that, there was a parade in town, and everybody that was in the parade was dressed like medieval. The men had tights on and tunics. They were all in black and yellow, had flags, music. And I asked the hotel manager, I said, "Oh, is this for the tourists?" No, it was that this black and gold group had beat another contrada in some kind of friendly competition, and they were kind of lording it over the other contrada. So you've probably heard of the polio races also. That's a whole nother way that each one has their own horse and their own competition. It's an interesting situation. And from what I could gather, it's usually a very friendly competition, but it's still a very unique society. The third and last reason I'm going to tell you why I recommend the book is that you may expand your knowledge of art. Most of you know a lot about art and really revere Italian art. There's no country in the world that has created more dynamic, wonderful art. But the time when Duccio worked, which was around 1311, there was a change coming about. And most of you probably never heard of Duccio. I doubt it. But he is in the art history books. But right before him, they were creating Madonna figures. I'm going to get one for you to look at. They created, these were created on wood and tempera paint. This is called the Rucellai Madonna, and this is at a church in Florence. But this one, like I say, is 13 feet tall and 7 feet wide. And this particular Madonna, when you look at it, the figures are all very, I would say, cold. And you feel like, you're in the presence of greatness and keep your head bowed and, very ritualistic, in my opinion. But Duccio helped change things 20 years later. His Maestà in the front had everybody looking a little more human. I know you need to maybe look this up on the internet if you'd like even a better picture. But there's angels back there behind Mary and Jesus, and they look so human, and they look like they care so much about the Virgin and Jesus and what he will have to go through. And then you have the martyrs, the people who died for the sake of Jesus, and they're very human. It was very interesting that Duccio, sent his apprentices out into town to sketch people from town to put into these pictures. And then when people from town came to see the Maestà, they'd see their friend, the baker, even the prostitute in these pictures. And in the back of, I say pictures because in the back of the Maestà were 40 little paintings of Jesus in his passion. And this is my favorite one that got my attention. This is Christ entering Jerusalem. Now, Duccio took a lot of license in this painting because he has like typical Sienese buildings in there. Jesus is walking on a cobblestone street with that donkey. uh, instead of a dirt path, which I would imagine it was. And there even is a black and white Balzano, which is the flag of Siena with those colors on one of the doors. And there are 40 paintings like this, and Jesus looks very human in all the paintings. So this was a stepping stone. He and Giotto both this was a big stepping stone into the Renaissance. Like I said, this was in 1310. So in conclusion, I think it's got a great story, suspenseful story. You'd have to read it yourself as to what happens. It'll help you escape from today's problems. It will be very interesting to know what the society was like in Siena, and you might expand your appreciation of certain types of art in Italy. It's available on Amazon. You have to use the large letter Duccio and the Maesta large letter. I tried not doing that and I couldn't find it, but if you feel like it, I recommend it. And thanks for having me, even though I'm a German. You've been very kind to me. It seems like a great organization.
Thank you very, very much, Gail. Do we have any questions from the audience? I'm not seeing any questions from the chat, but thank you very much, Gail. And we welcome you to visit us at Casa Italia if you're.
Great.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.